Fiji presentation. Honestly, you couldn't get a pair of destinations that are more matched in terms of what they offer. I mean, it really does help, I think, to have, when you think of, you consider what a destination like Australia offers. I mean, it's kind of nice to break that journey with a little stop in Fiji. I mean, Fiji is about a 10-hour flight, as you can see from Los Angeles here, and it just helps break the journey. Now, you can have that journey broken on the way down. You can also have it on the way back. I prefer on the way back myself. Go and do the big journey first, get to Australia, have that Australian experience, and then it's a 4-hour flight to some nice leisure, some nice me time on Fiji. Yes, I mean, when you think of the South Pacific, these are two destinations that are primed to work together. Why is that? Why is that? Well, think about Australia and you think of some of the iconic cities they have, like Sydney, the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge. You've got Melbourne and Brisbane and Adelaide, and really that's something you don't get on Fiji, but it makes, of course, it's a very strong attraction to go to Australia. You've also got this endless outback, this rugged frontier of the never, the opportunity to mix in with the indigenous culture of the Aboriginal people. I mean, the outback is quite alluring. Then, of course, you've got the Great Barrier Reef, this endless reef, the largest living organism in the world. And, of course, some amazing wildlife experiences, some unique wildlife that's found nowhere else in the world. So hopping little marsupials with pouches and cute little wildlife. It truly is a lot of fun. And so are the people, very friendly. Aussies are easygoing, laconic, g'day mate, throw a shrimp on the barbie. I mean, Australians and Americans have been mates for many years. And it just makes sense you come down and visit us because we're all there ready for you. We've got the barbie going. Now, when I say friendly, Fiji is a natural fit because Fiji is very friendly too. In fact, the Melanesian people, and I don't know about the science on this, but I reckon they're genetically disposed to laugh. They've got that nature about them. At every moment, they just got to flash those teeth and have a smile. And they truly are. In all the times I've been traveling to Fiji, they are the friendliest people I've ever met. And for that reason, let me tell you, you'll find a lot of Aussies over here in Fiji because we invest out. When we want to go on vacation, that's where we go. So that's probably a good indication. There's also some wonderful, when you think of the South Pacific and the tropical islands, you think of Fiji, swaying palms, white sandy beaches. You think of the diver's delight. Jacques Cousteau, there's this man of just incredible experience when it comes to diving. He only chose one place to build a resort, and that was in Fiji, the soft coral capital of the world. Fiji is a great escape for people seeking romance. So you can go and have that romance in Australia and a bit more adventure and activity and food and wine and all those other things outback, as I mentioned, but then you can come to Fiji and really tone it down, have this wonderful South Pacific romantic escape. Yes, this is what Fiji offers. It offers a nice little break. Now, I say it's a great stopover, but let's not kid ourselves. It's a destination in its own right too. So if you've got clients that are looking for an island destination, an island escape, then Fiji has got it for you. And I've got some great islands. I've got some new product I'm going to talk about today, so I'm kind of excited. I better get going. Let's get into Fiji first, and let's talk about the airline that's going to connect these two. And Fiji Airways is a wonderful airline. They've done a marvellous job of rebranding itself. And as you can see here, the routing offered by Fiji Airways, it does connect USA, Los Angeles. It also has flights out of San Francisco now too. I just want to throw that in there. This is a bit of an old map. But what I wanted to point out was once you get into Nandi, you can actually also connect through to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and New Adelaide as well. So, for that Australia combination, it actually connects in well. Now, the livery on the actual aircraft itself is just stunning. They've used the tapas cloth type design on the tail, and you'll see that encompassed on the internal parts of the plane as well. The good thing about the flights, Los Angeles, daily services. From LAX to Nandi, departing 11:30 p.m., arriving at 5:30 in the morning the following day, so plus a day. They also return on a daily basis, leaving at 9:40 in the evening. So you get a full day of that South Pacific paradise, and in darkness you escape, arriving back home. It's like a dream, and that's exactly what Fiji is all about. It's like a dream. Coming from San Francisco now, we can boast having 2 services a week from San Fran. So departing at 11 p.m., arriving at 5:20, and then also the same day coming back at 10:15 p.m. in the evening and arriving back in San Francisco at 1:45 p.m. So on board that flight, what can we look forward to? Well, you can look forward to friendly Fijians with wonderful tapas-like designs on their uniforms, flowers in their hair. The interior of the plane itself also has some of that tapas design, as well as the lovely 222 configuration in business class, with, of course, fabulous meals being served and in-flight entertainment. You know, it's all about relaxation. When you're flying business, it's all about relaxing and stretching right out, having a good night's sleep is what. Of course, it's a 10-hour flight from Los Angeles to Nandi. If you're traveling in economy, you'll wake up then and having breakfast and lovely breakfast being served. And this is economy, 2-4-2 configuration. That's a typical meal in economy. You know, 40,000 feet in the air, somebody sent me a hot meal and a glass of vino. I'm in. Hey, fantastic. And there you are. You're kind of sitting up there. You can chat. It's a very much built for couples, the 2-4-2 configuration, isn't it? So, you know, you're watching a movie together and sharing some fun. The fun really starts with the investment you make. Look at the saving here. Los Angeles, San Francisco to Nandi, 826 plus taxes. That's cheap as chips. That's round trip. That's nuts. What about the business class out of San Francisco? Isn't that good? 2,600. I mean, you'd pay the difference. I mean, you would not. Traveling business class, 10 hours, my goodness me, I'd love it. But have a look at this. Business class to Australia. This is kind of special. This is out there right now. From San Francisco, flying business class, 3,350 round trip. And that is common rated to Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide or Brisbane. So in other words, I mean, you're saving a fortune on those domestic flights. You're basically going from Nandi all the way through to Adelaide and then starting your journey from there. In fact, what we'll do is we'll start our journey from Melbourne in a moment. But before we do, let's talk about Australia. It's pretty much the same size as the lower 48 states, which means it's pretty large. And if you're arriving into Sydney, well, that's like landing into Florida. And if you're driving then out to Denver, well, that's like, driving down to Ayers Rock, that's like driving to Denver. So it's a bit of a journey. It's a big country. And of course, Fiji Airways connects itself nicely with Qantas. And of course, Qantas offers some great domestic connections right throughout. Australia is broken up into 6 states and 2 territories: Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland are the states. The territories are the Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Territory, which is home to Canberra, like your Washington DC. Now we're going to start off in Victoria this time. We're going to head down to Melbourne on one of those flights. We've saved a fortune. Let's go and check out where we're going to stay. We arrived into Melbourne. This is Australia's cultural capital, a wonderful melting pot of authenticity. The lovely river that meanders through is called the Yarra, and it's a bustling metropolis of humanity. It's a great place to live, and we're going to live and stay at the Langham Hotel, and you are living on the fat of a lamb. This hotel is just divine. Gorgeous walking into this foyer. The flower arrangement, they change very regularly. It's just sublime. And the rooms, of course, give great view. You're sitting like in the Eagle's Nest. You've got this gorgeous view out over the city of Melbourne. You're right where it's happening. That's the Club Terrace room there. And you can sit out and meander and wander the Yarra River and check out the Melbourne skyline. You're not missing a thing staying here, that's for sure. Getting across that river, you can go and do a nice little guided walk through the hidden arcades and laneways that make up this catacomb of secret laneways and little restaurants and bars and coffee shops. My goodness me, the coffee shops are nuts. I mean, Starbucks tried to open up coffee shops down there. They had to close. They couldn't compete with Melbourne's coffee. There's only 2 places in the world that couldn't actually compete with Starbucks, Starbucks couldn't actually get into. It was Melbourne and Rome. Yeah, amazing. And of course, you've got the markets, the Queen Vic markets, wandering through here, a great place to kind of meet people and just see it all happen. And then you've got the Melbourne Cricket Ground. This is a major stadium here for Aussie rules football. You've got the Australian Tennis Open. In January, it's home to this amazing Australian Open, which is one of the Grand Slam tournaments, of course, in tennis. You've got the Formula One Grand Prix in March, which is, for those people who are interested in motor racing, it's quite the premier event. And then you've got the Melbourne Cup in November, the biggest horse race in the Southern Hemisphere. The whole of Australia stops to watch this horse race. Australians like to have a little flutter barter, a little gamble. We're about on two flies walking up a wall. Yeah, serious. And then there's Aussie Rules football. That's that MCG I was telling you about. Grand final in September. In a few weeks' time, the big men will fly. The siren sounds, and everybody in the stadium stands up. There's like 100,000 people in there, and they tilt their heads back and roar. And the noise from the people vibrates your chest. It's just so electric. If you've got it on telly, make sure you start watching it because it's a lot of fun. Now, out of Melbourne, there's some great little road trips too. The Great Ocean Road is like the Big Sur Drive in California, a gorgeous piece of coastline, and it's called the Shipwreck Coast. And in fact, you can stop and get off along the way and get some nice photographs. That's London Bridge. Actually, the story behind that, the bridge actually went all the way across here to the mainland, and there was a couple over here. Actually, when this went down, when it collapsed, they had to get a helicopter over here to lift them up. They're on Channel 9, on TV. Turns out it was a little bit of a little relationship going between a couple that weren't actually married, but had spouses elsewhere. So it wasn't kind of exciting for them. It was for everybody else. This is the 12 Apostles through here, and it's a bit like this area here is just amazing. You can actually do it by helicopter. There's some great areas to go out and view it all. It should be called the 11 Apostles because one's gone swimming, hasn't come back yet. Now, Melbourne also offers the opportunity to get out amongst the wildlife. And koalas and kangaroos in the wild is run by a gal called Janine. She takes you out on guided tours, so you actually get to see the wildlife in the wild, which is, I think, important. Otherwise, you just go to a zoo here in the States, wouldn't you? I mean, here you can actually go out and see them interact and have somebody actually explain. That's a familial group I took down who are actually doing a little bit of recovery work. It was an invasive species. We were pulling it out of the ground. Of course, our reward was to see koalas in the wild as well. So it was just a fabulous day out. Now, the Colonial Tramcar Restaurant is one of many restaurant experiences. This one here meanders through the streets of Melbourne, and it's a wonderful experience. I mean, Melbourne's got some great dining too, some wonderful dining opportunities. A good nighttime experience, or perhaps in the afternoon, you head down to Phillip Island, and just at the sunset, little penguins come rushing up the beach. On a good night, you'll have up to 2,000 little penguins. It's just phenomenal. And we move from there across to Adelaide and South Australia, which is where I'm from. Population of Adelaide is 1.2 million, and Adelaide's considered the whale state. Wildlife, outback and wine. And you'll find the city of Adelaide is one of the most beautifully designed cities in the world. It's got a parkland of 1 mile wide all around the entire city centre. And right in the centre of the town is the Adelaide Central Markets. And to wander through the markets and smell the pungent aroma of sweet, sticky tropical fruits, the heady smells of fish and poultry, the lovely din of a good market where you're buying and selling goods. I mean, so much fun. That's a Metwurst shop, a Metwurst, or salami you might call it. Metwurst, amazing. I mean, salivate thinking about it. But you wander around, you have a taste, you buy. It's just a great way to meet Australians. It's a great way. Of course, Adelaide's also got more restaurants per capita than any other city. Rundle Street, all these alfresco restaurants, people dining out. People are always out socialising, mixing and mingling. And that's the beautiful thing about Australia. It's this wonderful society, and everybody gets out and enjoys it together. You've got North Terrace, which is this wonderful cultural boulevard of art and museums. And I mean, Adelaide itself was a free city, and so it was designed, around the gentry of the English people that came across. Then on the edge of Adelaide is this island called Kangaroo Island. Now, it's named after the Kangaroo Island kangaroos, who they say 10,000 years ago, the Aboriginal people actually left the island because they were a shortage of water at the time, and they left the kangaroos to run the roost. Now, these kangaroos have really got no real concern about human beings. In fact, I had a kangaroo hop in my car when I was working for Tourism South Australia. I had to actually open up the other door and make them hop all the way through. Yep, that's true. The kangaroos, they can only go forward. And the same with the emu, can only go forward. That's why they're on our coat of arms. Australia, always progressing. You like that? Kangaroo Island itself has got a mixture of farming and dirt roads. These dirt roads have got ironstone on them, so you've got to be very careful driving because you can lose control. It's always good to go with a guide, and being guided along like Seal Bay of this beautiful white sand beach to see Australian sea lions. There's also remarkable rocks. The place to stay, though, is the Southern Ocean Lodge. Its location is just sublime. You're out on the very edge of this incredible island out on the western side. So you've got this whole coast yourself. You're welcome through the door. A lot of the stone is used from the actual local areas. It's like a limestone. And every room has got this fabulous view. I mean, it's just divine, absolutely gorgeous. It's a lounge and great room. And of course, this whole area here, the great room expands itself out. You've got a beautiful open bar area, a lovely wine cellar stocked with premium Australian wines. You can only believe a good portion of those, of course, come from South Australia too. And the dining room, be inside or be you, it's truly a sensory journey. You can sit outside, have this alfresco dining experience, and they can arrange some really quite nifty little things like cocktails for two at the Clifton Top Beach Boardwalk with views over Hanson Bay. Hard to believe. I used to go fishing here. I had no idea this would ever become such an amazing resort location. Quite remarkable, as a suite is named. The Remarkable Suite, the Ocean Retreat, the Flinders Suite. I mean, these are suites that will have your clients just boasting to their friends the experience. And when clients start talking up their experience, it's this sort of a property that marks a vacation, that makes them remember how wonderful it is. It's truly a place to relax and indulge. At the same time too, there's lots of signature experiences right on its doorstep. You can head out koala spotting with a local guide. You can actually have this lovely Aussie bush picnic out there in the bush, the smell of the bush just pungent, and there all of a sudden you hear this noise, it's an echidna. Yeah, it's a little anteater. That little fella there is actually a monotreme. It's like an egg-laying marsupial. Quite bizarre. They've got a long pink tongue he flicks out there to pick up insects and ants, and it's amazing to watch if you get a chance. And a good guide will have you. The last group we had through here, they saw 8 in one day. Crazy. When they get a bit flustered though, they like to dig a hole. They've got rear wheel and front wheel drive. They dig a hole straight in the ground like that. Zoot! Yeah, just bury themselves. Amazing. Then you've got the Garn, which is the longest north-south rail journey in the world. It leaves from Adelaide, goes up through Alice Springs, up to Darwin. And a welcome cocktail is always a welcome start to the Garn journey. To get into that lounge bar and talk to the Aussies. 80% of the people on board here are Australians. So you've got some real good company. You're having some fun out there as you cut across, you make your way across the outback. Dining in the lovely Queen Anne restaurant cart. I mean, it just is a wonderful way to mix and mingle and to get to feel for what it's all about. At the same time, you've got private areas, your own little sweeper for two. And so, yeah, arriving into Alice Springs. Now, when we head into the Northern Territory, the central part, Alice Springs, Uluru or Ayers Rock, this is more dry, dusty outback, and Darwin and the top end's more of a sweaty tropical area. So in Alice Springs, it's kind of a town that's set up to service people of the outback. So you get a chance to explore here, staying at the Lassiter's Hotel. You'll learn a bit about its history by going to the telegraph station, because that's exactly what it was. It was a telegraph station for the Overland Telegraph. You also get a chance to head out and see all the wildflowers out here, the Sturt Desert Pea, the Major Mitchell parrots, the goannas, and the big red kangaroos are found out here too, 7 foot high. You can learn a bit about the Royal Flying Doctor Service and how they make this whole area safe, and learn about the School of the Air, how young kids are taught by teachers who sit in these little classrooms, and the kids are out on these big cattle stations, 10,000 miles away, and it's just incredible. You can also do a bit of hot air ballooning out here too. What a great way to start the day and see the world wake up, see the outback come alive. Speaking of coming alive, Ayers Rock. As soon as the sun rises on Ayers Rock, it beams a bright orange. Now, the rock itself is taller than the Empire State Building. It's 5 miles around its base. And you can't help but feel a spiritual significance when you stand before it. I mean, it reminds me of going to Europe and walking through those amazing cathedrals or even going to places, going to places where of great spiritual significance. I mean, you really feel it when you're there. Staying here at longitude 131 will be more of a religious experience. It truly is. It's this 15 luxury tents on this gorgeous red sand dunes, have fantastic purchase and gorgeous views out over the rock itself. So it's a great spot to stay. Each one of them is its own little museum of Aboriginal art and of early historians and explorers. It's just great to stay there. Everything's included. Exclusive dining experiences are a part of the journey, and a signature guided touring around the rock. So it's all small group, learning about the indigenous people of the region. I mean, it's fascinating, their art and their culture, and a real good chance to capture a piece of the dream time. From there, we head to Queensland, of course, up to Cairns, which is where the Great Barrier Reef meets up with the Atherton Tablelands and it's the Daintree Wilderness Rainforest. They're two World Heritage listed areas. Now, the Great Barrier Reef, of course, is the largest living organism in the world, and it's just an opportunity to explore, and this becomes a great base to do just that. You've also got the incredible Daintree Rainforest, which is the oldest living rainforest in the world, and these two areas collide and provide some great experiences. No better place to experience just that is to stay at Silky Oaks Lodge. This is a gorgeous luxury lodge amongst the actual rainforest itself. It's been very eco-sensitive in how it's been developed, and at the same time too, it gives great purchase, great vantage points at which to take in the areas. You've got wonderful rooms, well appointed, and you can sit back and relax and just soak up that whole experience. It's from here that you can head out to the reef and go snorkeling and diving and of course semi-submersibles and glass-bottom boats. You can also, of course, do some great Dreamtime walks out into the rainforest led by a local Aboriginal guide and to learn a bit about the Kukulanji and their Dreamtime walk. It's just fascinating. The Dreamtime walks takes you all the way up to where the Daintree rainforest meets the ocean and meets the reef. So yeah, it's a special spot, very special. And you can just to relax and immerse yourself in this after you've done. I love the way this itinerary is flowing so far too. The cities, the outback, and now you're here. This wonderful tranquil zone where you really are coming into your own. I mean, at the same time too, there's some good adventures that can be done here. And for those that want a bit more adventure, why not head out to Lizard Island? I mean, Lizard Island puts you right on the outer reef, because the reef itself, the outer reef, is an hour and a half out by boat. So by going out here, a small plane will fly you out to Lizard Island, and you'll stay at this gorgeous 5-star luxury lodge. And it's just a great place in which to kind of call your home and then head out and do little picnics on the island, go out and dive. The diving out here, there's a cod hole, and this is a real favourite for divers. These cod are the size of a small VW. Oh, just a phenomenal dive experiences. Now, after that, we've left Sydney till last. I mean, the reason why I like leaving Sydney till last is because people have an expectation of what Sydney is going to be all about. So it's a bit like getting a bike for Christmas when you're a kid. Mum, Dad don't bring it out first, do they? You get all those other things, the socks, the hankies, and all the other stuff, and all of a sudden out comes the bike. Well, Sydney is definitely a highlight. And to come into Sydney, I mean, it's been voted by readers of Condé Nast and Travel and Leisure as like one of the #1 cities in the world. You're looking down here on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, or the big coat hanger, we like to call that. And then in here, you've got the historic rocks area, cobblestone streets and bars and restaurants. And out here's the circular quay where ferries bring in daily commuters. And then out on Bennelong Point, you've got the lovely Sydney Opera House. And the backing to that is the beautiful Botanic Gardens. Now, staying here, the Four Seasons is a prime location and a prime vacation spot. I mean, the gorgeous luxury, you've kind of built up to a wonderful experience. If clients are in this zone, then they will definitely like it. For the views it offers, it actually connects you with Sydney. It just is a very much an integral hotel within the stay here for 5-star clients. Linking up with that, you've got sensational Sydney cruises, which will take you out on small. We call it cruising like locals. So this is what locals will do here. Hop on a boat, go out with some friends, maximum of 16 people on board here. You know, you're having a nice little lunch. They get the barbie going, having a few cleansing hours, some nice Australian wine. It's just the only way to see Sydney on the water. There's also, seeing it from above, the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb, which is quite an exciting thing to do. For those that do the bridge climb, I'd always highly recommend that you organise it early. It's either done at sunrise or sunset. That's the best time to do it. In the middle of the day, it can get a bit windy and it can take up very much of your day. So keep that in mind. Then you've got gorgeous Manly Beach. Sydney's blessed with some beautiful beaches. Dee Why, Kirkcudbright, Manly, named after manly men that Captain Cook saw when he first sailed into Botany Bay. You've got Bondi Beach, which is the birthplace of the Australian surf lifesaver. So you've got some great ocean access and great beach access. And at the same time, if you head out west, you've got the Blue Mountains, about an hour's drive, and you're up there in the pungent aroma of eucalyptus. That valley there, it's like the Grand Canyon, but it's covered in trees. You can see the Three Sisters in here. And there's Lilienfels. There's a gorgeous luxury lodge that sits right above this whole area. So for those who want to stay up, that's not a bad thing to do either. And then Sydney has events, amazing events, like, for example, Vivid. Now, every year, Vivid goes off like a frog in a sock. It's quite an attraction for people from all over the world. And what they do here is they light up everything. Like, for example, here on the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb, they light up a big disco floor on the bridge. Everybody's attached to bungee ropes. You're all safe, and you're having a bit of a boogie up there. But the whole city, they light up the boats, they light up the Sydney Opera House, they light up every building in the city, and it's just sensational. It's an incredible celebration of light. Now, after that wonderful Australian experience, there's much to hold in, isn't there? Now we've got Fiji. So you want to break the journey in Fiji, and there's a few areas. Of course, you'd fly into Nadi, that little 4-hour flight. You might head across the Coral Coast. Typically in the Coral Coast, the resorts are a little larger. You've got Mamanutas and the Yasawa Island group, and we're getting to smaller islands and smaller resorts, as we have here in Vanalevu and Tavanui. The Tavanui up here, the Strait, the Somo Strait is where the great diving is. So let's start off with that wonderful welcome, that lovely bula, everywhere you go, the bula spirit, that lovely Fijian smile I was talking about. After saying g'day, g'day, g'day through Australia, it's now a bula, bula, bula. And you'll go to the markets and they'll be smiling and beaming, and every opportunity to say hello, to have fun, to laugh. Fijians know how to laugh better than most, and I can tell you, it's just such a humbling experience, just relaxing experience to be amongst a culture of people that embrace life. To actually go out to a village in Nadi is also fun. To go with a guide and be taken, sit down with the actual chief and have some kava, and then meet up with the locals as well. Here in Nadi, there's Denarau Island, which is very close. There's a number of 5-star resorts here. I'm just going to touch on the Sofitel Resort and Spa, which is a lovely property, offering great service and wonderful facilities. You can see the large pool, wonderful beach area, all the activities, banana boat rides, parasailing, all the activities, as well as spa activities. Now, if clients were very short on time, they just wanted somewhere to stop over and just break the journey, then this might suit them if it's only for a few days. Same the Intercontinental Fiji Resort and Spa. This one here is actually on Natandola Beach, which is the most beautiful beaches in Fiji, and it's like a golfing resort. So for those who are into golf, Vijay Singh, the Fijian golfer, he likes to play down here. This property is also wonderful. Its facilities are gorgeous, and it's a great hotel. These larger properties are kind of for good groups or families. They suit it even more. At the same time, a group of guys playing golf, I think they'll be pretty happy here as well. So the Coral Coast is full of some of these larger resorts, and you know, a 45-minute transfer, you can drive yourself, you've got fruit stands and stop out, or maybe a little 10-minute helicopter flight with some great coral sea views. The outrigger on the lagoon is also one of those larger resorts. Great property though, wonderful dining facilities, gorgeous pool area, and fantastic service. Very nice. Great places to stay. Just off the Coral Coast, there's a couple of resorts I'm going to touch on right now. You've got the Royal Davui Island, which is just fabulous for couples, and each of these little bungalows is tucked away into the actual island foliage. So you've got these gorgeous lofty views out over the ocean itself, and this is a great spot for honeymooners. Look at that. Isn't that just divine? You've also got an outside spa area as well. So and at the same time too, the common areas are very nice as well, and it's fun to mix and mingle with other people, so you get a chance to do that in the evenings. Yes, at the same time, they've got some very special locations for people who want to feel like they're the only people on Earth, like these two people here. Now, the new kid off the block, Kokomo. Yes, you're thinking about the song, aren't you? Kokomo. Well, keep that song in your mind. Kokomo, this is the newest product on the market, and the properties here. This property here is a 45-minute helicopter or a seaplane flight to Kokomo Island, and it's in itself, the island is just absolute pure luxury. They've got one of the best beaches on any of the islands, without doubt the best beaches, and it's also the great astrolabial reef, which is just this amazing reef experience, and it's truly untouched and pristine. So the beautiful thing about this property, it has everything from can host everything up from 2 people up to 10. Actually, you can take over the whole island for 120,000 if you want to. But this is you want for nothing. Your average room stay for 2 would be like $2,000 a night. It's just luxury personified, as you can see here. This is the private hill top luxury. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Now we're going to the Mamanusis, which is just out of Nandi, and you'll find Denarau. Hop on a boat or take a little plane. Mana Resort has had a lot of work done to it. And I like to bring this one up because I got to stay here and see it as it was just being developed. And I met with the chef here, who was just fabulous, and I'll talk about him in a second. But let's have a look at the resort itself. Large rooms, a lot of refurbishment being done through here. Also a lot of new areas like the pool area, the restaurant, al fresco dining. The main restaurant's just fabulous, and lots of dining experiences. Now the Latitude fine dining is just gorgeous, and the chef here, Lance Cito, he's the man who's behind all these restaurants. So if you've got people who want to go somewhere where there's lots of other activities, lots of other restaurant choices, you want to do pizza one night, fine. If you want to go 5-star, then you can go to Lance's 5-star restaurant. But you've got some great experience. The food here is sensational. And Lance has won many awards. He's won some great awards. In fact, he has his own TV show in Fiji, a food channel. So you're really in good hands. He used to actually work here at Castaway Island, and this is another resort that's actually the one that started it all, Castaway Island. A great spot. I'd highly recommend your clients to have the beach brewery. You've got beach breweries and garden breweries. This is the choice. And it's definitely you've got ocean view and all that sort of stuff. This is what you want to get the client. Great food here, of course, and wonderful facilities as well. Lots of activities, snorkeling, diving, and they've got their own little dive shop. You've got parasailing. You can head out and do a little champagne hop-on, hop-off, dolphin safari. Lots of fun stuff. And probably the biggest thing about this island that I kind of enjoy is the staff. The staff have been there since I've been going there, a lot of them. And every time I go back, it's g'day, Jeff, how you going? And that big smile, it's just fun. They are fun and friendly, and that's typical of Fijians. They remember everything. Tokariki Island Resort, great spot for couples. And couples island with little beach bungalows like you see here, offering you great access to the ocean, at the same time wonderful facilities as well. And you also got the sunset pool villas with the little plunge pools, just divine. Tokariki is a great place for honeymooners to escape, offering great dining facilities and some wonderful special treats as well. You would find a couple staying here at Tokariki would just truly have a vacation to remember. So after a bustling Australian experience, they come here and they relax and zone out. In the Yasawa Islands, we've got the Yasawa Island Resort, also a great couples-only property. Wonderful beach. I love the open plan nature and the high ceilings. And yeah, it's a great spot to stretch out with your partner and truly enjoy a romantic escape. And they have, like a lot of these island resorts, will have a lot of stay 7, pay 5, stay 5, pay 4, free massages. We can organise all that. When you're coming to us, we will source it out. For example, going up to Adelaide, a place we like to stay at, you fly up to Subble, and Adelaide itself is surrounded by coral, so you've got snorkeling and diving and kayaking and a Billy's rafting. That's where the locals will tie bamboo together and trees together, and they'll float down the streams. It's a bit of fun, as you can see here. And the Coral Sun Resort is a property I like to suggest. It's for people who like to be active because it's got a lot of other entertainment attractions. The actual property here looks like an overwater bungalow with its own little private plunge pool, but look at that, the Edgewater breweries. They are delightful, and they've got these wonderful day beds, so it's a great spot. One partner's gone diving in the morning, the other one's going to spa and relax, and this is perfect. Speaking of spa, here it is here, lost amongst the rainforest. A great experience for those that want to truly relax after that big Australian trip. Come to Fiji and relax. So, the Coral Sun, it's a great property. It offers the diving, the snorkeling. They've even got golf. You can see a little 9-hole golf course on there as well. Hiking, biking, walking. I mean, you can do everything and nothing, and that's what I like about Coral Sun. Now, a new property here, the Savati Private Island. This is absolutely deluxe and just gorgeous villas. Now, they've got 7 exclusive villas, and you can just see a few lights there. They're all kind of on the island. They're kind of separate. They're actually dropped around the island, all very, very secluded and very private. And Sea Breeze Villa, for example, is one that I just love. The interior, high ceilings and wonderful views. I mean, that is the sort of view, that sublime, setting just a magic finish, and crashing against the reef, the snorkeling right out the door. Nothing beckons you more. You tap that off with some wonderful dining experiences, and you've got yourself a private island that is going to offer a truly mesmerising finish to a great stay. Now we go further afield. We have across the Somersault Strait. We go into Tabanui, and we're going to stay here at Matangi Island Retreat, which actually is the sister property. It's of the Savo, and this one here. If I was to design an island, this is exactly what I'd do. I mean, look at this. It's just perfect. It's got a private little bay in here, and this lovely high rocky outcrop, a beautiful coral garden that completely encompasses the whole thing. I mean, what a great place to stay. White sand beaches, and ideal for couples. I mean, Matangi's little beachfront bures are just beautiful. Interior well decked out, lovely poolside breakfasts, and then you're making decisions about what you're going to do that day. A bit of scuba instruction maybe, learn how to scuba, snorkel and dive right on your doorstep, maybe a little picnic to Horseshoe Bay. And that afternoon, spotting little kingfisher, the Matangi banded kingfisher out there joining you. And when you come together in the evening in the dining room, you're having cocktails, you're chatting with other couples. I mean, this is paradise. This is a great place to wind up your journey and enjoy, embrace the surrounds, magic little dining experiences. It also has great spa facilities as well. So truly a wonderful place to escape to. Gumea Resort and Spa is one I can't pass, because this one here has been highly awarded, and it really set the bar in terms of service and also the quality of the spa, of their experience. The bungalows themselves are well appointed. Love the high thatched ceilings and the lovely timber. It just finished off nicely. A beautiful tropical island breakfast in the morning. What a great experience that is. And then maybe heading out on some tours, going out and exploring and doing the Boma waterfall tour, or maybe doing a little bit of activity, perhaps go surfing or diving. You can learn to surf here. So you can head out and do a little surfing experience and catch a wave, or maybe you want to go out on a little dive safari. Gumea offers it all. So Fiji is the soft coral capital of the world. It offers some great experiences and some great resorts like Gumea with its beautiful spa facilities. Right on the beachfront here, you can actually enjoy incredible, relaxing. You'll go back to the States after this. Your clients will just be thanking you for the incredible experience they've had. Truly a romantic rendezvous and a great finish to that Australia-New Zealand